Welcome back to the Premodern Finals here at Misty Mountain Games. Here with Mike, and this is Ben, and we're on the round 3 here with James King versus Adrian Sullivan. James is on Elves, and Adrian is on, we're calling it Junk Morph here.
That's what's written on the deck list.
Okay, Junk Morph.
There's a lot of things going on in Adrian's list.
We have some interesting card choices and a lot of one-of fun-ofs. Yep. So, we kind of start talking about that, or I start talking about that. Why don't we send Mike back to get him started here? So, things like, we got a one-of Rancor here, a one-of Llanowar Elves. How's that for a thing, you know?
Which card?
One of Llanowar Elves.
Okay.
That's like an interesting thing.
Yeah, I would say you either know you're really well prepared or you're just throwing stuff at the wall if you have a one Llanowar Elves in your deck.
This reminds me of that Sam Black standard deck from 2005. There was Court of Calling that he had one Birds of Paradise in. That was he was sure that was correct. So at any rate, on the other side, James, we actually don't have his deck list right here in front of us, but we are told that it is a fairly standard Elves list. So that'll be that.
So how much of the juice did you get into the?
Well, I did talk about one Rancor, one Llanowar Elves. We got one Call of the Herd, a Persecute.
Did we talk about Flesh Reaver?
Oh yeah. So let's talk about the 4. So we've got Flesh Reaver and Phyrexian Negator. I feel like that's what we're here for. We're here for these big, ridiculous black creatures that have nasty drawbacks.
Yeah, this Flesh Reaver, this is a card that I do not see that often in pre-modern play.
Adrian was telling me that his opponent played a wall against him, and he was not super pleased about that situation. So,
how's your 0-4 lineup against my 4-4? I guess if it was an 0-5, then
it was no. I think it was just a Wall of Blossoms. But he was like, so that Wall of Blossoms read, draw a card, deal 4 damage to me, prevent 4 damage. Yeah. It was like maybe not great. As far as other cards in this deck, yes, there are 4 Mox Diamonds to make the mana work. We've got some Dresses and Cult Ball Therapies, Bane of the Living, Nantuko Vigilante, excuse me. Plastoderm as well. So we're gonna start off here. We've got ourselves a Quirion Ranger on James's side, followed by a Mox Diamond, City of Traders into Phyrexian Negator.
I think that's kind of like what Adrian's really trying to go for, like using City of Traders. Does he have Ancient Tomb as well?
Let's see here. City of Traders and
just the ability to power out like a 3-drop early.
Appear to have Ancient Tomb. I'm guessing he didn't think he could afford the zillion colorless mana that were coming out of those. So Negator, whenever it gets dealt damage, it's a rough situation for you. But we got a Rancor on here.
Double trample. Here we go. All right, 7/5, which conveniently is a very nice permanent that you can sacrifice if it does take some damage. So
and we're updating our life totals here, 13 to 20. Adrian's thinking for a second about what his life looks like here post-combat, and he's decided to play a...
Dargaz Caldera.
Okay, what in... Oh, that lets you return.
So that's the layer land. So you're able to stack the triggers. That's going to return
it.
Yep. So he's going to return the city before it actually stacks.
Therapy. I know what this art is.
Okay.
So not like the weird new arts. I don't know these new arts. Adrian appears to have missed on his call out there, whatever it was.
Survival of the Fittest might be the first card I would name in a situation like this.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we drew a land here for James, and he's going to cast this Fyndhorn Elves here.
The one thing I really like about Adrian's deck is not only is it applying like a good amount of pressure, but it has the right pieces of disruption, like hand disruption, or in this matchup, there's some amount of creature removal.
Yeah.
Really can line up really well against like a deck like Elves, so that you're able to put pressure on the table and then either protect your threat or disrupt your opponent if they are doing something more powerful.
Makes sense. We've got a Cradle now out here, so big mana available. I miss what got us this land here.
Yavimaya Granger.
Granger.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is usually a one of in the Survivals Elves list. And it's to turn on Anger, so that The difference with your creatures having haste is huge.
Huge, yeah, you can do some serious things. And then we cast
Tangle Wire.
Tangle Wire. Well, Adrian's not going to be attacking here for a few seconds. Okay.
Yeah, you can't have enchantments with the Tangle Wire, so the Rancor doesn't get added.
Yep.
So otherwise, that would be a nice little bonus that Adrian has that extra permanent to tap.
That's fair. I just had to tap them all here. Okay, we got a Swamp Go situation for Adrian. I think he was feeling pretty good about this until that all happened.
I'll say that. Yeah, that Tangle Wire is a very good card for James. It's preventing the pressure, also preventing the mana from Adrian, and then like James has enough permanence that he's still able to develop, like with a Priest of Titania in play and a Quirion Ranger. He has a ton of mana. If he has a card like Survival or even like a big threat.
Did he not stack his triggers correctly here? He can stack, so he only has to have three permanents, right?
Yeah, so the fade, there's two triggers from Tangle Wire. Yeah. One is fading to remove a fading counter, and then the other one is to tap the permanent. So you can. I'm
just saying he has four permanents tapped.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't miss something, but regardless, that was it. Was that another attack? I'm honestly not sure what happened there.
So we paid for Echo for the Granger, and then we tapped 3. Okay, so we do have a ton of mana available, but I think James only has one card in hand.
Adrian is thinking pretty hard about what he's going to tap for his Tangle Wire here.
I guess if James isn't attacking there, maybe he's just saying, I want to put up a few creatures. I guess he'd be able to attack because the Quirion Ranger can untap with the land, but maybe he just wants more toughness in the way of a negator so that if Adrian did attack, he could make him sacrifice more permanents.
Gotcha. Adrian has drawn another land here. A report. And I suspect this port is going to... Ooh. Is that a Flesh Reaver?
Yeah. Yep, that's a reader for James. I don't blame him. This card is not very commonly
No one
played.
knows what this card does. Don't worry about it.
I mean, it comes up in my card searches when I'm trying to brew for Premodern decks very often. I think about it a lot. I have not put it in my deck list yet.
That's fair. Okay, so we're going to, I assume, maybe he wants to cast that Anger if he draws it. Okay.
It would be a weird situation, but yeah, maybe. I mean, like, a lot of times Anger has a ton more value just being in the graveyard, but just having a 2/2 that you don't care if it dies and, like, getting in the way of a Flesh Reaver or a Fire Extindicator could be valuable.
For sure. That Flesh Reaver really wants to get that Anger or that Rancor passed over to him, though.
Yeah.
He'd like, hey, tag, can I have it? Okay, we're tapping 2 and... Ooh, Address. I don't know that that's going to do much good here. Negator's at the point where there's enough stuff in play on the other side that it's pretty dangerous to attack with it.
Yeah, I would say, like, it could be very detrimental if James puts a block. And so, yeah, it might be difficult for Adrian to close out these last points. So he does have cards. I don't know if we got to this point in the deck list. There's a card like Bane of the Living.
Yeah.
That card would just absolutely swing this game completely in a different direction.
Yes, for sure. So, counting permanents here. Thinking about how much fun he's going to have with his attack. There he goes. All in.
No fear.
I mean, the point that I was making here, though, is good. Like, Rancor coming back here, and him being able to switch it over to the Flesh Reaver is actually a big game.
Yeah.
So, as long as he's pretty sure that he can weather the explosion of lands that are going to come here.
Well, I was say the number of, if James put everything in front of the Phyrexian Negator, how many permanents would Adrian have to sacrifice?
Can't really tell.
So one's a Yavimaya Granger, that's a 2/2, and I think the rest are 1/1s.
Yeah, I think it's 4 damage, right? 5. It's 5 damage.
Okay.
So,
Well, it's 5 creatures, so it'd be 6 power. If you put everything in front of it.
I think it's... Sorry, I was counting power here. So, okay, well, we've decided to go this route. This is not the route I would have gone.
So the Granger's going to get in the way of the Negator. That's just going to soak up 2 damage. And the Quirion Ranger, which is redundant, is going to chump the Flesh Reaver.
So the Flesh Reaver is going to successfully deal some damage here. And then...
I guess, I mean... back in the day with damage on the stack.
I know, but I think it is a funny wording these days. Okay, so that we're gonna sack that, and here comes the. Now he doesn't have any mana. He's gonna take some damage here, so we're 15 to 8. Tangle Wire tapping itself. He's porting his Cradle, hoping that's basically enough to prevent him from going off here. Things happen.
Well, I think it's less about mana in this situation and more about do you have a card like Survival and a card, but it doesn't look like that's the case. If James empty-handed, he just has a bunch of 1/1s.
Yeah, this is actually rough for him here when Adrian's gonna untap here and make his.
It's Flesh Reaver through a trampling guy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and an Edict. That is, I think.
It is. I mean, like if you don't like pain, you should not play what Adrian's doing.
Yeah.
But I'd say because Flesh Reaver normally deals you 4 damage, but when you Rancor it up, it's going to deal you a little bit more.
Yes, successfully damage. Yeah, it's coming, man.
All right, so this is an attack for 11 again, and this is all trampling damage.
Yeah, I think
so
he might be.
He's obligated to block with all 4 creatures.
Yeah, he's gonna go to 1. Well, actually, he's just gonna die because Adrian has Diabolic.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not something that he knows, but yeah.
I think I can't count. Maybe my math is wrong. 2, 3.
Yep. Well, so he's at 8. He's attacking for 11. -4 would put him at 1, and so if a Diabolic Edict there, then.
Yep. Okay. We're gonna. He's like, I would like to throw everything in front of
this Negator.
Okay, and I believe Adrian is gonna count and say, "Hey, how about one of those guys?"
Well, 1 toughness less. That's all I need.
One toughness. We're gonna throw him off the ship here.
Yep. Get out of here, elves.
Yep. Give him a long throw here. Well.
Ooh, I do have a. Now that this Diabolic Edict is up on screen, that does remind me. So we do have a raffle that's going on for part of raising money for our charity, which is Briarpath Youth Services. And you, as a viewer at home, you do have the ability to participate in this raffle. And I'm going to go through that and show you what you need to do if you're interested. So right up, I have the Misty Mountain Games website. So if you're able to search that and get to this, then you can go to the search bar and go raffle. It's going to bring up, we have this Briarpath raffle for the Winter Finals. That's our current tournament. You can click on here. You see that there are a number of different options here. That's because we have different items to raffle. So one right here, we have the Cartographer art print. So this is from Jeff Laubenstein that's framed. So if you win this, we'll ship it to you. Yep. This is an altered Smother in a little
Santa Smother
holiday. So this is done by yours truly. So also written with the Misty Mountain Finals. So
I gotta tell you, this is the most valuable piece here.
Well, you haven't seen them all yet. So
okay.
Now we got there's a Naturalize also with a nice Santa costume again.
Yeah, this is beardless Santa though.
Yes, yeah.
I'd say the other one.
Okay.
The other one is, you gotta get that beard in.
Okay. We have a Jackal Pup. This one was done by my daughter.
Ooh,
so,
okay, you're right.
So
our values are going up.
So
our values are going up here.
She's in 7th grade. She had some fun with the Posca paints and did a Jackal Pup altar.
Excellent.
We do have a Goblin Tinkerer opening up some presents underneath the Christmas tree.
So
again, this has with the Misty Mountain Finals on it, and then the Diabolic Edict.
Santa
being thrown off. So
yeah, I mean,
he's just got to make his delivery. I'll quick go through the.
Apparently doesn't like Santa very much.
We do have a Misty Mountains playmat. Then there's also the holiday promo from WotC. This is seasonal sequel.
Seasonal sequels.
And then there's also a Cloudgoat Ranger playmat. So that is what we're at for our raffle. So if you're interested in that, you can purchase those, and you'll be able to select which one you want. You'll be entered in the raffle. Just to note, we'll have 3 different waves of how they're raffled. So I believe 3 of the altered cards, I think the Jackal Pup, the Smother, and like the Naturalize, I think are going after round 3. So that'll be shortly up. So if you want those, you'll need to get those in now. And then later in the day, we'll do some of the other stuff. So some of them will be auctioned off or raffled off after this next round. So if you're really interested in those, get those now. But let's jump back to our game.
We're shuffling here. So I did get the list for the elves here. Looks like we have some options. Here are options for.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I'll go over to see if anything like really stands out in terms of innovations. So this is the natural order list. There's a couple copy of natural orders that gives a different dimension for the elves that you can kind of go for a different game plan. And look for the targets. It looks like just a Verdant Force in the main. In the sideboard, there is a Phantom Nishoba, and that could be a card that comes in against the heavy pressure from Adrian.
Sure.
Though being up against a black deck, there could be a number of removal spells that even if it is a giant dude, does Adrian have good ways to get rid of those?
In his sideboard,
Eradicate. Get that one up. Smother won't hit it, and Diabolic Edict is unlikely to hit it. So, I guess maybe the removal suite that Adrian selected isn't as good against the Nishoba as maybe I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah. So natural order elves from James.
He does have a Dystopia.
Okay,
that's a good one, right?
Yep, that's a powerful one.
That's a powerful one.
No, James does have the agency in terms of what cards get sacrificed.
For sure.
So,
okay, looks like Adrian is keeping his set. Excuse me, and James is mulligan in here. What else does Adrian have here in the sideboard? Some graveyard interaction, which probably isn't going to help very much here. Engineered Plague, though. That's my understanding of when a deck is named after a specific creature type, generally means that Engineered Plague is a pretty good card against them.
yeah.
Adrian is keeping a hand of land. What is that front card there?
Is it a Flesh Reaver? I would say it looked like an Imperial Seal, but that's not a legal card. So.
Yeah, it just looked like a card I did not know. Adrian has some new ink on his arm since the last time I looked at his arms on coverage here.
Okay.
I don't remember that knife.
I would say it's definitely something that I have seen, but I guess I haven't noticed. So. Yeah. So who is the better Llanowar Elves deck?
Clearly the one with one of.
Okay, the one of.
I mean, let's be honest here, though. Obviously, the Elves deck is, leaning in and using.
James is a nice guy. He's a community builder in the Milwaukee area.
Excellent.
But I am really rooting for a Bane of the Living. I'm sorry. So that will be at the cost of James, but I really want to see Bane of the Living.
James likes Llanowar Elves so much that he's playing Llanowar Elves' twin cousin.
Yes.
The
Fyndhorn Elves.
Fyndhorn Elves, yes. Twin cousin. I don't actually think that's how that works but yeah.
Maybe in Alabama.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I was gonna stay away from such disparaging comments.
Sorry for the joke or the stereotypes for anyone from
Alabama.
Yeah. Quirion Ranger will start off for James. So
yes. Okay, we got a Quirion Ranger, and Adrian is thinking about what land to discard with his
Mox Diamond?
Mox Diamond here. Okay, and we've got a Flesh Reaver.
Turn 1 Flesh Reaver, so it looks like Gemstone Mine was discarded, but then Rishon Import was added. So a little bit of mana disruption. Maybe once Adrian's done committing to the board, he's going to try and disrupt the mana for James.
Yep. And okay, we've got
that's Multani's Acolyte.
Multani's Acolyte. Yep. Okay.
Elvish Visionary at home.
At home. Okay.
Though we have seen situations where Multani's Acolyte echoes paid and lines up much better against a meddling mage than an Elvish Visionary would.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Well, we're gonna think real hard here. Video traders into a Call of the Herd. No, we have actual elephants for you, my friend. There we go.
Okay.
He really wanted his left shark, though, so...
It's a compromise. All right.
Yeah. left shark. I saw Katy Perry in Vegas a couple weeks ago.
How was that?
It was like going to watch a Toy Story on drugs.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, he pays for his echo costs and then gets a Fyndhorn Elf out there. And Adrian, I think, is going to battle at least with the call here. I don't know if he'll.
Yeah, I would say with the Flesh Reaver not having trample, there's only so many times that you can just run it into a 1/1.
You're like, you know what I need. You gotta stay ahead on that race there. So, but I think he's. Yep, here he comes. Okay. Oh.
I'll say it's also kind of interesting because a lot of the removal that Adrian does have, like cards like Engineered Plague, will take out multiple elves at once.
Sure.
So like chipping away at one elf at a time might not be as valuable if he draws like a Bane of the Living or an Engineered Plague that can take out 5 elves at once.
Well,
if he needs to protect his life,
we have a morph.
Okay.
I didn't see what it was.
Well, what are our other options that it could be? Because that with our junk morph, are there Exalted Angels?
We've got a
Nantuko Vigilante
is an option, and you know he did call this junk morph, but he really only has like 5 morph creatures in it.
All right. Well.
Yeah. I mean, it's really that or Vigilante. Vigilante is not very exciting here for what it's worth.
It does give you protection against like the most powerful card in James' deck. Maybe
sure.
Like Survival is super powerful. I mean, I guess Natural Order you might argue it could be the most powerful card right now. But
it's Bane. Somebody says they have the ability to see what we cannot.
They probably were paying attention to cards.
Oh yeah, as opposed to Katy Perry stories. That seems maybe like what I should have been doing. At any rate, we're gonna cast a symbiote here. Or no, never mind. We've got that card we just talked about.
All right. So it might be a situation where Adrian wished that Bane of the Living was an Nantuko Vigilante, but I guess still like getting rid of 3 creatures in this spot, still is pretty good. Just cutting down James's board position and cutting off his mana, while Adrian keeps his entire board.
Well,
would still be.
Doesn't he lose his?
He could just do it for 1.
Oh sure, he can do it. Yep, makes sense.
All right, Bane of the Living flipped up.
Gonna do a little discard.
Yeah, James has an opportunity. So does he have? I was gonna say, does he have? I don't think he has enough mana to get and play Caller. Get and play Caller the Claw. That would be like a turning point. But Squee, Goblin, Nabob is just the result.
Okay, and then we're gonna go get another thing here with. What are we gonna get here?
I don't know. There's not like. This is not a good position for James.
Yeah, it turns out the getting like 3 for 1 or 3 for 0.
Well, the Elves deck can come back from situations where it gets its board wiped, especially with Survival in play. The problem is you need a little bit of time, and Adrian is not providing that at all.
Yes,
with Flesh Reaver, Elven, and Bane of the Living. This turn it's less because the Bane flipped up and does affect Adrian, so it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be 8.
Yep, that's what appears to be the number they have settled on. 3 plus 3 plus 2, that's 8.
But the next turn it will be for 11. So.
Yep. So, well, and it's more than that because Adrian just played a Treetop Village.
Okay.
So, presenting lethal, as we say.
Yeah.
And with 1 mana open.
Here's a Multani's Acolyte. I don't know what you want to draw, but I guess like with a Treetop active. Oh, well, and eradicate. We're eradicating that Multani's Acolyte, and that
was. You know what happened there? Junk Morph 1.
I would say Junk Morph did what Junk Morph came to do.
Yeah,
and that was play an early giant, oversized, undercosted creature in either Flesh Reaver or Negator, and then just had the backup it needed.
Could remove the things on the hand or on the board. So
I'm gonna jump down to the floor, see if I can get someone else to.
Sounds good. We'll take a quick peek.
Match.
I know that we have a couple other folks out there that we're looking to get into a feature match here if we have a chance. If they keep winning, it's obviously much more likely we'll have them jump on. Yeah, that was a that was a fun deck. I appreciated that very much. Grabbed Anger. He had the mana. Well, that may be the case, but I'm not sure. Not sure he had the time. So, at any rate, I think we have. Looking for Mike here.
All right, we're gonna bring Caleb back onto the
Ooh,
feature match. He's
Caleb
playing against
D.
He's playing against Peter McGrain, so they're going.
Oh.
They're about to go to game 3.
Some good local Magic player friends here, so we're gonna move them over. You want to give us 5 minutes here, 3 minutes or something, and we can, or do they know they're moving?
They're moving, so we'll just keep it. We'll keep things going.
Good.
So
fair enough. Do we know what Peter's on?
I know I don't. If I had to guess, like he's known to play the Rock. So that might be.
Caleb did defeat the Rock in round 2,
Yep.
so we shall see. But they're going to game 3, so hey, it is Magic. You can anything can happen here.
Yeah.
Well, anything within the realm of Premodern, I suppose, but innovative deck so far. Well, the one that we really haven't seen anything like before is this Adrian deck, right?
That is something wildly, completely new. I'll be interested to chat with Adrian and kind of get that story of just that deck building process, which just in itself, speaking to Adrian, is the way he approaches deck building is really different than a lot of people. He's been someone who's played Magic forever and really has a great mind for deck building. So it'll be really interesting to chat with him.
It's a thing that he, really cares about, doing. That's like, especially early Magic was like his calling card, right? Was coming up with unique decks, sometimes that other people piloted for better effect than he did, but certainly has a number of early Magic writing credits that, for things that matter that way. And is someone who, this format probably feels right at home for. We were chatting a little bit in between rounds with him, and, the number of times he just recalled exactly the card, some corner case card that, got played in a deck in 2001, and I was just like, well, you're right in the right spot here. So,
yeah, one thing I do like about the Premodern format is, obviously, there's a lot of powerful things that you can do, and it can happen really quickly. Like, people are summoning turn 2 dreadnoughts, and and so I'm not saying it's underpowered, but if you get past that point, if you're able to disrupt your opponent, then a lot of times the games will extend really long.
Yes.
And so it's really interesting that you can find just different strategies, and there's a little bit more breathing room to kind of do something creative if you're able to kind of get over that initial hump of disrupting your opponent or taking them off their game plan. All right, so Caleb and Peter are sitting down. I think I have Peter's name spelled right. I'll have to check on that.
I can investigate.
Apologies if I had that wrong, but we'll check on that. So
I'll take a quick gander here. You if you're using all cap letters, they're good.
All right.
Okay, well, we've got round 3 or game 3, excuse me, coming up. It's round 3 and game 3 actually.
So I think the most important card from Peter's perspective is probably Pernicious Deed, right? I guess that the problem is I have to imagine, did Caleb have disenchant effects? I didn't see the prior match.
He did have a couple.
Okay.
And he has main deck Vindicate.
Okay.
The previous Jund opponent, Rock opponent that he game 2 just blew up his green source, and his opponent couldn't cast any green spells, which kind of ended his day after getting verdicted a couple times. So
yeah, I was gonna say, because a lot of times you have Pernicious Deed and you'll play it out and you just let it sit and play and find the right time, because it's really difficult for the opponent to either commit too much of the board, because then the Pernicious Deed is going to do a lot. But then Caleb has a disenchant, so maybe you're going to say, okay, I'm going to wait to play it until I know I want to activate it. That also is problematic because Caleb has hand disrupting spells. So it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. And Peter isn't sure like where it's safer to have that pernicious deed.
For sure. Just turns out that it's really hard to beat both Angel and Decree.
Okay.
Because they are presenting kind of one big unique threat and one small, or like a bunch of small little threats. And the answers are obviously different for those. Well, actually, the rest of his deck is kind of tearing apart your hand and, controlling a board.
Yep.
Weird name for the deck.
Did we get a confirmation on what deck Peter's on? I guess you're not in Melee. Okay.
I am currently just shuffling some Adakar wastes.
We'll have to talk about that. We'll get those on camera. We do have some 8 Adakar wastes for those who managed to get to the top 8 of our tournament.
That's true. They do say top 8, all except for this one that says Champion.
Oh, okay.
They are in beautiful Ice Age condition.
Do you have a favorite Ice Age Painland?
Oh, it's this one. Adakar waste. Yeah, for sure.
I would say I think Sulphur Springs might be a favorite.
that Sulphur Springs art is fun, but I played a lot more Adakar wastes in my I played this plus Outpost.
Okay.
At that was the first deck I ever took to a tournament was basically post control.
So you brought a good deck to your first tournament?
Yeah. I mean, I do remember arriving and being told that Strip Mine was banned the week before, and this is I don't know, 1995. So the internet was not really a thing. Okay. So we had to figure that out. Yeah, there you go, Keldorn Outpost.
They're not waiting for us, are they?
I don't think so. But,
okay.
Maybe they are. I guess let's wave at them. We'll go wave at them. Anyway, yes, the Outpost deck was a thing. So we're Counterspell and Outpost. It was a good time. Oh, they're ready to go. Okay, so we've got Peter is on burn. Fly, maybe. We've got a Fanatic. It looks like Peter's on burn. We talked a lot about the Rock.
Not the Rock.
Yeah, it turns out not the Rock.
Doing something different.
Yep. He's taking a little look at a card in his hand. Doing a little cycling.
Do we know if this is Goblins or Sly? I guess with the bauble, it's probably Sly.
Yeah, and there's I see a Curse Scroll in his hand. Getting in there.
All right, life totals are changing. So
yeah, they are actually changing this time. So we've got that Curse Scroll coming down here. Well, I mean, I was going to say, well, it's safe, but this isn't a counterspell deck, so.
But
we
could
got
be a nice way.
Warm? Get a little warm in here.
Well, I'll say Curse Scroll. I guess you could deal damage without casting the spells, but I guess if you're not casting spells in your hand, then it's going to be difficult to activate that Curse Scroll.
Yeah, turns out that, I mean, you can just get really lucky a lot.
Yeah.
I have definitely activated that with 6 cards in my hand and hit.
Yeah, with this Warmth coming down this early, it really hurts Peter that he doesn't have a card like Jackal Pup instead of Mog Fanatic. Dealing 2 each of these turns would be a lot different.
And double Curse Scroll is not what it's about. Oh yeah, you're missing land 3 too. So life is probably okay for Caleb. Oh, Doctor. So everyone remember how much fun Stone Rain is? Because that's what this is about here. So.
Yeah, so Caleb getting aggressive where he's going to take out the Mana Source, given that Peter passed his 3rd turn and didn't have a 3rd land drop.
Yeah, for sure. That's the right play, I think, every day.
Well, since Caleb has the Warmth, I guess his life total isn't super...
threatened. And, well, he's going to try and block... Yep, okay, we're going to... Okay, all right, he's going to shoot him instead of kill the token. We're going to draw off that. Okay, there we go.
So Degree of Justice gets cycled for 1, put the Soldier into play.
Yep. Basically said prevent a damage, or, well, take a damage, kill that guy, draw a card.
Well, Caleb has a number of Decree of Justice, so it's
It's just he's he just needs to slow things
Yeah.
down to draw his threats.
Like a lot of times the
Okay.
blue-white, like the blue-white deck, sometimes they look at it as like a win condition. I think in Caleb's list is a lot less like that. It's more of like a speed bump or roadblock. It can be a win condition, but there's like the Exalted Angels and other ways for him to win the game.
I have
So.
sad news for Peter.
Yeah.
The game has ended with Peter having no lands in play and Warmth and a Circle of Protection red on the other side of the
It's enough for him to tap out. So.
Yeah. I feel like that Price of Progress is okay. Well, that may have been a little anticlimactic, but you want to talk about the power of some sideboard cards in this format?
Yeah, I was
right
gonna say.
there.
I mean, like, and that's one thing is a lot of times I was talking to BK before and talking about brewing against decks, and a lot of times I would play against a deck like the mono red, and I would just lose with whatever I'm trying to do, and I would kind of go back to the drawing board. And I'm like, well, maybe this deck isn't good enough because you're just going to lose the sly. If you're playing white cards, you have a lot of really powerful options.
For sure.
We saw both of them, like Circle Protection, Red, and Warmth, I think are probably the two most common. I'm trying to think the other. I've played Sphere of Law, but I guess that's less common.
There are a few other ways to go, but
cards like Exalted Angel.
But I think it is interesting to think about, like, if you watch, I don't know if you've been watching Cedric and P. Sully's receivables. They kind of go over how the early days of Magic, which we get a decent amount of here in the Premodern, have so many of these color hosers that are just lacking in today's Magic. And you can kind of see maybe why that's the case here on display, right? Like that game wasn't over when Warmth was cast, but it was going to be really hard. And then a few turns later, it definitely was over at that life total when Circle of Protection Red gets cast. I mean, on a no mana board too. Obviously, it's a little different, but so there's some door slamming that white can do. And that's true, actually. Like if white wants to beat a green deck, sometimes it can do the same thing, just like a Circle of Protection green. So it's interesting that way. And Caleb does, by playing, enemy colors here, matters a lot more than it does in current Magic, because both of that gives him enemies on either side that he could have a hate card against if he wants to.
Because typically the way that the old design was, when you have a hate card, if it's a white card, there's hate cards for the enemy colors of that color. And so if you have allied colors that you're sharing,
you can really pick on one color.
Yeah.
And you can get good on two other ones, but the two colors you're playing you can't address. Yeah. And like Premodern, there's a pretty established metagame at this point, so you can play around with that a little bit. That makes it interesting. So I think that will get us going for round 3, or get us ending for round 3 here. We'll be back with you here as soon as we have matches for round number 4.
Yeah, just quick reminder that the raffle that we are going to auction off or raffle off some of the items after round 3. We also we are taking a lunch break. I think it will be after round 4. So there might be an intermission there. We might have some random bonus feature match Magic that we might be playing on the feature match to fill that time.
Gotcha.
So we'll see there. But yeah, we're going to take a break for this round. I don't think there's too many other players still playing, so I don't think it should be too long until we get to our next round. But yeah, that concludes our round 3. And stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back with round number 4 of our Misty Mountain Finals.